The Legend of Zelda series has captivated players for over 35 years with its whimsical storytelling and hand-to-hand combat. Every game in the series was jam-packed to the brim with little details, secrets, Easter eggs, and references to other games in the series. In this series, we will cover as many Zelda secrets, hidden details, and Easter eggs as we can find. Subscribe to be notified when we drop the next video in the series, and drop a like if you enjoy. To kick off the series, we'll start with the one that started it all. The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System is one of the most controversial games ever released. It takes place in a world where there is no cities and barely any people in it, because it's taking place in an apocalyptic final battle near the end of the Fallen Hero timeline. It was one of the first games to feature non-linear gameplay, meaning the player could explore wherever they wanted to, whenever they wanted to. The game itself featured 9 dungeons, called levels, in the game. While most of these dungeons could be played in any order, a handful of them required items gained in previous dungeons to reach them. The Legend of Zelda encouraged exploration more than anything. Oftentimes, burning down a bush or pushing a suspicious rock would reward the player with various interactions, like playing a money-making game or meeting an interesting friend. The Legend of Zelda stands out from the Zelda aspect we know today, with 2 Triforce pieces, no Master Sword, and little to no clues in the open world game. On the other hand, there are a lot of things that stem from this game and have become iconic today in the Zelda franchise. For example, this game introduced the quote, "It's dangerous to go alone, take this." It introduced the money currency, rupees. It introduced puzzle solving, and of course, Link's classic green tunic. Despite being the first game in the series, it is chock full of fun little secrets and Easter eggs. First up on our list of Easter eggs, did you know that the iconic Zelda currency, rupees, were originally from another game? Clu Land, a simple game on the NES, it was a launch title for the NES back in 1985, and it featured gameplay similar to Pac-Man. You use quick thinking skills to navigate mazes and collect gold bars while avoiding dangerous enemies. These gold bars in Clu Land are the exact same model used in The Legend of Zelda. Every dungeon, or level as it's called in-game, forms a shape, such as an eagle, a snake, a dragon, or even a menacing skull. If you were to take all of these dungeons and put them beside each other, you'd find that they actually fit together very well. This is because all of the dungeons are on the same map. Using this method for level storage, the developers could save space by only having 2 worlds, one above the ground and one under the ground. While on the topic of the levels, in the original prototype for the game, there was no overworld. The original prototype featured only dungeons, but Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of the game, wanted to feature a world above, and they slowly added forests, lakes, and mountains to fill in what became the world of Hyrule. While we're on the topic of the levels, in the second quest, which is a harder version of the game, the first 5 dungeons, if shuffled, spell out the word Zelda. It's a cool little secret many people overlook. Like I just mentioned before, the game features a second quest where levels, heart containers, and some shops have switched locations. It also features more numerous and harder enemies in remixed dungeons. It's similar to Master Quest in Ocarina of Time and Master Mode in Breath of the Wild. Normally, to access the secret mode, you have to beat the game. But if you name your save file Zelda, then you will start the game in second quest. As you progress through the game, you will encounter various old men in levels and in the overworld. Players who felt the urge to attack any of these old men were in for a surprise. The torches on the old man's left and right will shoot fire at Link to teach him a scorching lesson. There are many different enemies in the land of Hyrule, and all of them have unique weaknesses. Some of them are as simple as just stabbing them with your trusty sword, but others have weaknesses that could only truly be used in Japan. If you were playing The Legend of Zelda on the Famicom system, then you could yell into the microphone to kill all the Pulse voice enemies on the screen. A simple yet impossible way to kill this enemy. Let's cover a quick sound Easter egg. One of the items that will aid Link on his adventure is called the recorder. When used, Link plays a short but haunting melody. The same melody was reused in 1988 in Super Mario Bros. 3, When Mario uses the warp whistle, it plays the same short tune. Exploring is a huge aspect of The Legend of Zelda, and that all started with the first game. If curious players bombed a certain wall or burned a certain bush, they might find a secret cave. Inside these secret caves, there's a moblin who would give Link money. It seems that not all the monsters in Hyrule are out to kill him, but the moblin will leave Link with one remark. He tells him it's a secret to everybody. This iconic line now appears in many other games in the series. As you explore dungeons and slash through enemies, you'll likely encounter the blue bubble. This enemy does not directly hurt Link, but it curses him. This curse keeps Link from drawing his sword for a time. However, there is a simple trick to remove the bubble's curse. If you play the recorder, the curse will immediately be lifted. How handy. Here's a trick that can save you some rupees. In The Legend of Zelda, there are two types of potions you can buy. Blue potions, which are single use, and red potions, which are double use. If you take a sip of a red potion, it will turn into a blue potion, indicating you only have one more sip left. If you purchase another blue potion from a merchant, your potion will turn back to red, saving you the rupees you would have spent if you purchased a whole new red potion. Since the developers of The Legend of Zelda really wanted choices to be another big part of gameplay, they allowed the player the choice to grab the sword at the beginning of the game, or not. Originally, the sword was intended to be in Link's inventory at first, but they changed it because they wanted Zelda to be a game about puzzles and exploration, rather than the focus be on the combat. If the player chooses not to snag the sword, it is possible to make it all the way to the end of the game without the sword, although you cannot actually beat it. You do need the sword to defeat Ganon, the final boss. Here's an interesting challenge. It's actually possible to complete your inventory without beating a single dungeon. There's nothing stopping you from entering each dungeon, snagging the item, and escaping with it in your grasp. Keys are another big part of The Legend of Zelda. They are originally supposed to be used in the level you obtain them, but it is possible to use a key collected in level 1 in another level. After entering level 1 in the first quest, there is a locked door with a keyhole at the northern end of the room. By simply exiting and re-entering the level, the door unlocks itself. This allows you to leave the dungeon with a spare key that can be used in any of the other dungeons. However, if extra keys are what you're after, you can also simply buy them from merchants found in the game. In level 6 of the first quest, you will encounter Goma, a large spider-like creature that has since become a well-known boss in the Zelda series. This boss is incredibly easy, as it only takes one shot to bring her down. And just as the old man found in the level suggests, aim of the eyes of Goma, the quickest way to defeat Goma is to equip the bow before you enter the boss chamber and shoot immediately. This will kill Goma instantly, allowing Link to snag the next piece of the Triforce. The Legend of Zelda was also famous for introducing a way to save your progress, meaning players could play for a session and then come back right where they left off. Most games in that day and age didn't have this convenient feature, since they were meant to be finished in short amounts of time. Can you imagine not being able to save in The Legend of Zelda? It really is a terrifying thought. In the game, you get to save when Link loses all his hearts, but there is also a secret way to save whenever you want. In the original NES version, if you press Start to access the status screen and then press Up and A on the second controller, it will bring up the save screen. In addition, using this method, you get to start with as many hearts as you had, and not just the standard 3. One last bonus secret concerning the save screens is that if you save while being healed by a fairy at a fairy fountain, you get to start the game with full health next time. That's all for this video. If you have any more information or secrets we may have missed, please comment down below. We'd love to see what you have to say. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you again soon.